I
think we're
really
going to
don't
move on.
understand what you're saying, so I want you
So
to
if you take a
elaborate.
male chauvinistic, stereotypical man
Mm-hmm.
that is like perpetuating patriarchal beliefs, viewpoints, and all those type of things. So, for example, if you take that stereotypical man who thinks that a woman's place is in the kitchen, who
Mm-hmm.
thinks that women shouldn't be in the workforce, who has all of these really archaic viewpoints in regards to women, one of the things that they will do is that they will virtue signal in this way of like, well, happy wife, happy life,
Yeah.
right? And then the other men that think that way are like, yeah, 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 happy wife, happy life. Or, she's the one that wears the pants.
I just got it.
Okay.
I
Did you?
totally just got it. But it took me a minute. I had to really sink in.
Would you help me explain it so
I
that
will.
other people can
I
get
will. Because it's only because I know your heart. And I know sometimes the way you are very
Take the long way around.
sometimes you get the attention so you can finish the thought, and I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to get where you're coming from. Sometimes you were misunderstood. I misunderstood you on that point. So I see where you're going now, because I'm like, are you serious? You think that way? And then I realized you've never once said to me, happy wife, happy life. You've never pulled any of those things out, because you show me you respect me. You show me you love me. You show me you value my opinion. So you don't run around being like, she wears the pants, happy. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that makes sense. I've never heard you say that. I was getting really pissed off. I'm like, oh, you've never actually said that. And then I can think about the men that I've heard say that.
Right?
Oh, my God.
Think about the men that you've heard say these statements.
Yeah, no, I'm on your side now.
Right?
I got it.
So how do we articulate it better so that it makes sense?
I think I just did.
Yeah.
So usually the ones that are vocalizing that,
right,
the virtue signaling, like you said, are full of shit.
Exactly.
And they're the ones that are kind of treating their women like shit.
Exactly.
And I'm mad at you thinking like, hey, what do you mean? But you show me.
Yeah.
You've never said something dumb like that, because you don't have to try and promote your love for me and your respect for me or women in general. It's just not me.
Right.
It's like you show it. So I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So like,
okay,
it's this thing that exists.
I'm on board. You are
culture.
all right.
And it was
that was close call for you.
I almost died, folks.
It was close.
It was very, very close.
I was about to the one beer bottle.
But it is this subtle masculine thing that douchebag guys say in order to pretend that they think this way. And then other douchebag guys are like, yep. That's how we, virtue signal that we're not really douchebags because we think our wives wear their pants in the family.
I care what my wife thinks.
Right. And then in reality, that's not the case.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I saw watching Shark Tank.
Okay.
And it pissed me off.
Okay. See, even more proof.
Well, it was frustrating.
I was really mad at you for a minute. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like, I talk about you a lot when I meet other people and when I'm talking about my life. And I talk because you're important. You're important in my life. You're important to what happens to me and you're an important part of my life. But I don't sit and talk about you in this false fake way of like, as long as I keep her happy, then she lets me do this, that, or the other, or she's really the one in charge. And I mean, you're not in charge of anything, meaning in regards to like...
I'm in charge of me.
Well, that's the thing. You're in charge of yourself. You're in charge of all these different things, right? But it's not like you and I run our lives together.
We do.
Right? And it's not to say that we do everything perfectly.
Don't know.
But I just saw it so clearly in that moment as I was watching this stupid show. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I've never noticed that.
We need to fix that because that's such a silly thing to continue to perpetuate.
Well, I don't think that's something that... I was going to say, I don't think that's something that we can fix. I think that's...
Talk about it.
We can talk about it.
Highlight it. Bring it out. If you're somebody...
I am triggered by that, obviously. I handled it well from the get-go. But I'm like, all the guys that think that, they're not going to fucking listen. They're too busy thinking that... I didn't leave room for growth in my thought process in that. I was like, nope, lost cause. That's how those men are. I don't really leave a lot of room for growth in that.
Growth or change of those men?
Which is not fair. because everybody can change.
Right?
And
Know
it's not,
better, do better.
yeah.
That seems like a pretty big one though, right? Because I can feel the weight of that, like, that I don't like the term toxic masculinity. I think that's also an asinine thing that we should stop saying.
Toxic personality. Because it can come from
Remember how we
women?
had the
Oh, that's
episode
right.
not too long ago where we were like using all of these words to
That's right.
describe the controlling, belittling, minimizing,
Abusive power mongrels.
yeah,
Is that good?
emotionally, mentally, physically abusive, non-direct ways that men minimize women.
Yeah.
That needs to change. And so if you're one of these men that says statements like happy wife, happy life, don't say that anymore because Craig said so.